My greetings to everybody. Now, I would like to express my ideas on leadership. Towards this, I want to reiterate once again that the three S, that is, three dimensions of leadership. Because to understand, in the sense, the conspectus of leadership is to be viewed from three dimensions, in my opinion. How to, number one, how to secure leadership, securing leadership. Number two, how to strengthen leadership. Number three, how to sustain the leadership. But it is not only confined to leadership, but I told you and I am repeating once again, it may be knowledge, it may be riches, it may be wealth, it may be friendship, it may be love, it may be anything in this world. It is easy to get, but difficult to enhance and then to sustain it. We can get it, we can get money, we can earn money by hook or crook, right? దొంగతనం చేస్తే కూడా డబ్బు సంపాదించవచ్చు. దట్ డజంట్ మీన్ ప్రతివాడు దొంగతనం చేయాలని కాదు ఇక్కడ. సంపాదించిన డబ్బును ఎలా పెంచాలా, పెంచిన డబ్బును ఎలా నిలబెట్టుకోవాలా, అదే ప్రిన్సిపల్ అప్లై అవుతుంది నాలెడ్జ్కి. ఇప్పుడు చెప్పా, ఇప్పుడు రిపీట్ చేస్తున్నా మళ్ళీ. అది నాలెడ్జా, లేకుంటే లీడర్షిప్పా, లేదా ఫ్రెండ్షిప్పా, లేదా లవ్వా, లేకుంటే ఫ్యామిలీనా, లేకుంటే పొజిషనా, పవర్. ఏదైనా తెచ్చుకోవడం ఈజీ, తెచ్చుకున్న దాన్ని పెంచుకోవడం చాలా కష్టం. పెంచుకున్న దాన్ని నిలబెట్టుకోవడం ఇంకా కష్టం, మహా కష్టం. ఈ మూడు సూత్రాలు కానీ తెలుసుకుంటే, ఈ మూడు సూత్రాలకి ఏం చెయ్యాలా? ద ఫండమెంటల్ క్వశ్చన్ నౌ ఈజ్ ఏ $1 million క్వశ్చన్. How to secure, what are the principles to secure the leadership? Because every leadership, in the sense, leadership is constrained by the traits, qualities, characteristics, activities, areas, and functions. Leadership is not a single thing. Who is the first and best, foremost leader? In my opinion, God is the first leader. Because He does many things. He not only does many things, but continuously, we don't know when this life has begun in this universe. When this universe has been formed, we believe It is our faith that God has created this world. God has created this universe. God has created this earth. God has created this nature. Whether it may be trees, whether it may be animals, whether it may be birds, whether it may be fish in the water, whether it may be human beings. All these things are created by God. So, but He has been doing it continuously, consistently, and constantly. So, I would like to tell, unless you know the characteristics, the qualities, the functions of God, you can never understand the leadership. Very, very difficult. But I would like to tell another side of the coin for information. Who is the next best leader? Devil. ఈవెన్ భగవద్గీతలో కూడా చెప్తారు దేవాసుర లక్షణాలు. ఒక పక్క దేవతలు ఉంటారు, ఒక పక్క రాక్షసులు ఉంటారు. దేవతలు చేసే పని దేవతలు చేస్తారు, మంచి చేస్తారని. దే ఆర్ కన్సిడర్డ్ టు బి గాడ్స్. రాక్షస ఆర్ టు బి కన్సిడర్డ్ టు బి బ్యాడ్. వాళ్ళు తపస్సు చేసుకోవడం, దే అండర్గో ద పెనన్స్, దే అండర్టేక్ ద పెనన్స్ అండ్ దే గెట్ ద బ్లెస్సింగ్స్ ఆఫ్, let it be Brahma or Ishvara or Vishnu or whatever it may be, any God, and taking those boons, they try to do certain bad things and finally they will be destroyed. This is the process. But we are not bothered, we are not qualifying whether good or bad. Leadership has no complication. We never judge. There is no question of judgment for leadership. Let it be good, let it be bad. The only fundamental principle of leadership is, because we have been talking about leadership is a process of influencing the followers. వాడు ముందు పోతూ వాడిని వెనక్కి లాక్కుపోతాడా, whether he will go in front and take the crowd, take the followers, take the subordinates along with him, or he will go at back like a shepherd and drive the people. This is all an important thing. Let him be in the front, let him be in the back, but the fundamental question is whether he can influence. His command is command. It is to be obeyed by the followers. Whoever can influence the people to undertake the command that comes out from his mouth, it is to be obeyed. That fellow is a leader. You see in even birds, you see even in animals, this phenomenon. You can see. You can see in ants. You can see many things. There will be one fellow who is head. All others will follow him. At the family, head of the family is the family, he is the leader. Organization chairman or the managing director is the leader. Like that, at every stage there will be leadership. That is called leadership engine. There is a beautiful book on that, leadership engine. There will not be one leader, but there will be hierarchy. Raju garu unnaru, the king is there, the next chief minister will be there, mantrulu, samantulu, then chief of the army, sena nayikudu, ఆయన కింద జనం కింద సోల్జర్స్, ప్రజలు, ద హోల్ హైరార్కీ. కింగ్ ఈజ్ ద లీడర్. We consider king as a leader, but at every stage, because the command that is given, passed on by the king to lower and lower, because the command is percolated. The order is percolated to the lower and lower, like a decoction in a filter. It is percolated. That's why, to understand the leadership, we have to understand the key is influencing. How you influence? Because we have been talking about the motivation, because I want to link up this motivation and leadership. Motivation is a creation of will, but the beauty of it is, when I blend, it is not from textbooks, please. Don't expect from textbooks. I don't want to speak the language of the textbooks. When you blend the leadership and motivation, leadership means influencing, motivation means influencing. Motivation is the creation of the will to do the job better. So, it's one and the same. When it is blended, I would like to say, motivation is a part and parcel of leadership. In other words, I would like to say, purely from the motivation dimension, to examine the leadership. That is, I am telling you now, motivation means move, to drive, to push, to pull, whatever the words use. కదలాలది. శ్రీశ్రీ చెప్పినట్టు వస్తున్నాయి 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 వస్తున్నాయి, జగన్నాథ 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 రథచక్రాలు వస్తున్నాయి వస్తున్నాయి, పతితులార భ్రష్టులార బాధా సర్పదష్టులార అన్నట్టు ఆకాశపు దారులంట హడావుడిగా వెళ్ళిపోయే భూమార్గం పుట్టిస్తాను, భూకంపం పుట్టిస్తాను, భూమార్గం పట్టిస్తాను, భూకంపం పుట్టిస్తాను అన్నట్టు డ్రైవ్, కదలాల. పదండి ముందుకు, పడండి త్రోసుకు, పోదాం పోదాం పైకి అన్నట్టు పోవాల ముందుకు. ఆ ముందుకు నెట్టాలంటే ఎవరు నెట్టాలా? లీడర్ నెట్టాలా. లీడర్ హ్యాస్ టు మోటివేట్. సో దెన్ ఇఫ్ వీ బ్లెండ్ and then create a new definition for leadership and motivation put together, a mover, leader is a mover. I'll put because for clarification, a leader is a mover who moves the mood. A leader is a mover. Mover is a leader. అతను మూవ్ చేస్తాడు. అతను ఏం చేస్తాడు? వాట్ ద జాబ్ హీ డస్? హీ మూవ్స్. ఎవరిని? ద మూడ్, ద సబార్డినేట్స్. ఏ మూవర్ హూ మూవ్స్ ద మూడ్. హౌ? త్రూ మోటివ్స్. You understand? I hope. Mover, it is a part of motivation. Move. Even Goldman told to move, just to move, not to think, not to delay, just to move is motivation. Then a mover is a leader. He moves. Whom the mood subordinates or followers. So a mover moves the mood through motives. Motives means interest. A mover moves the mood through motives for fulfilling the motives of both the leader and subordinates, followers. See, so that way we have to understand, when we blend the both leader and motivation, the definition will come like this: a mover who moves the mood through motives for fulfilling the motives of leader and subordinates, of both. Very interesting. That means there is no difference between leader and motivation. But there is a difference. Peripherally, there is no difference. Outline, there is no difference. But technically, there is no difference. But functionally, because everything has its own structure and everything has its own function in this world, let it be animate or inanimate, there will be a structure, there will be a function. I have a structure body. I have a structure of eye. I have a structure of ear. I have a structure of mouth. I have a structure of hand. I have a structure of leg. I have a structure of kidney. I have a structure of liver. I have a structure of heart. I have a structure of mind. All structures undertake their own functions. Structure and function are both important things, even if we talk about, when we talk about the leadership. Never forget. What is the structure of a leader? What is the function of the leader? Leader itself is structure. So, the structure of motivation is leadership, leader. The function of leadership is motivation. Am I clear? I am not asking, are you clear? Because if I ask, are you clear, I will be a pessimist. If I ask, am I clear, I am an optimist. In the sense, the leader is structure of motivation is leader or leadership. The function of leadership is motivation. For that, I will give another analogy, another example. We have brain and mind. The structure of the mind is brain. The structure of the mind is brain. The function of the brain is mind, thought. The mind thought means it may be cognition, it may be conscience, it may be consciousness, it may be memory, it may be ego. All these things. So the structure of the mind is brain and the function of the brain is mind. Like that, the structure of the motivation is leadership. The function of the leadership is motivation. Because it is influence in between. ఈ రెండింటి మధ్య ఇదుకు అతుక్కో ఉండేది దేంతో అంటే గమ్ ఏంటంటే, వేర్ ఈస్ ద గమ్, వేర్ ఈస్ ద ఫెవికాల్? అరస్ వేర్ ఈస్ ద ఫెవికాల్? ద ఫెవికాల్ ఈజ్ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్. Once there is an influence, both will come together. A leader will motivate, the subordinates will be motivated. The subordinates will be motivated by a leader through motives, and through motives the subordinates will be motivated by the leader, and then the result is shared by both leader and subordinates or the followers. It's very clear. So that is why I have developed a new definition. This is not textual, I am telling once again. It is my idea, my opinion. If I am wrong, I may be pardoned. I am apologetic. Leader is a mover who moves the mood through motives or achieving the motives. Whose motives? The leader and subordinates' motives. It's all simple. Very simple. So that is the essence of leadership. We must understand leader. What is the capacity of the leader? What is that is needed by the subordinates? Whether the capacity of the leader can handle the requirements of the subordinates. Both can be matched. If there is no match, there will be a mismatch, collapse. That is how all battles, all wars, all organizations, all families, all the systems, all the institutions, all the bodies have collapsed for want of leadership. So, leadership is so important. The capacity to handle by the leader the needs and requirements of the subordinates and matching both, then there will be influence. Once influence is there, okay, the problem is solved. So, now we are trying to make the concept of the leadership so wider with all its ramifications. A leader is a person. Leader has a mind. Leader has a body. Leader has an intellect. Leader has a spirit. And all these things put together, leader acquires certain traits, certain skills, certain knowledge, certain attitudes through which he will develop some motives, and he will try to use those motives as the instruments or the weapons on the subordinates, and the subordinates are triggered, or the subordinates are influenced, or the subordinates are charged, or subordinates are what we call ignited. Beautiful word, ignited. Their minds are ignited. Then they will be ready. When you read the Paradise Lost of Milton, hey, fallen cherub, let us all join and fight with the God. So that is why they told, better to reign in hell than to serve in heaven. Beautiful words are there in Paradise Lost. So Saturn could influence, God could influence. Finally, Saturn may lose the war. That is all different story. But that is why I told you at the first, God is the first leader. You understand God? God may not be there. I don't know God is there or not. I am not worried about it now. Neither I am trusting God is there, and you look at the God. Rama is a God, Krishna is a God, Jesus is a God, Muhammad is a God. I am not talking about the God. We symbolize some God. There are certain qualities to the God. God has influenced, God has created this. Let the leader create this. He will create leaders. He will create his own leaders. That means subordinates. ఒక లీడర్ కింద వాడి కింద రైట్ హ్యాండ్ ఒకటి ఉంటాడు, వాడి కింద ఇంకోటి ఉంటాడు, వాడి కింద ఇంకోటి ఉంటాడు, వాడి కింద ఇంకోటి ఉంటాడు. దేర్ విల్ బి లైక్ ఏ వాట్ విల్ కాల్ మిస్డ్ నిచ్చెన్ లాంటి. దెర్ విల్ బి స్టెప్స్. Step by step there will be leaders. Total engine, total thing will be managed by one fellow. మనకి ఇంతమంది రామరాజ్యంలో అంతమంది ఉన్నారు. వాళ్ళందరి పేర్లు కొంతమంది పేర్లు తెలిసినా కూడా ఫైనల్గా మిగిలింది రాముడు ఒకడే, కృష్ణుడు ఒకడే. ద్వాపరయుగంలో కృష్ణుడు ఒకడు మిగిలాడు. కృతయుగంలో అక్కడ రామ, కృష్ణ, so why we are telling this particular thing? Leadership is such a serious subject. The final sentence, the history of the world, the history of the universe is nothing but the great words and deeds of the great men who are called leaders. I am repeating. The history of the world is nothing but the great things that have been done. The great things that have been done, which have been remembered by the people, which have been recorded. That is leadership. ఈ లీడర్లు, ఇంతమంది లీడర్లకు కొన్ని వందల వేల మంది లీడర్లు, వాళ్ళందరి చరిత్రలను కానీ కలిపితే మనకు కనపడేది ఏంటంటే హిస్టరీ. నీ హిస్టరీ ఏంటంటే లీడర్షిప్ల యొక్క వాళ్ళ జీవిత చరిత్రలు అని అర్థం. ద లైఫ్ హిస్టరీస్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ ద లీడర్స్ పుట్ టుగెదర్ ఈజ్ నథింగ్ బట్ ద హిస్టరీ. దాంట్లో ఎంతమంది 18-30 చిల్లర అక్షోహిణులు, 18 అక్షోహిణులు అంటే 2.5 lakh అని అదొక థియరీ ఉంది. 30-40 లక్షల మంది మహాభారత యుద్ధంలో చచ్చిపోయారంటే వాళ్ళందరి పేర్లు తెలియదు. ఆ టాప్లో ఉండే లీడర్స్ పేర్లు తెలుసు, 50 మంది 100 మంది. ఈ పక్క కౌరవులో ఉండే 100 మందిలో పేర్లు ఎవరికి తెలియదు. ఆ 3-4, 5 మంది తప్పితే రాసిన హిస్టరీ ఉంటుంది, అక్కడ ఉంటుంది. బట్ ఎవడు మాట్లాడు. దుర్యోధనుడు ఒకటి తెలుసు, దుశ్శాసనుడు ఒకటి తెలుసు, ఎందుకంటే బ్యాడ్ థింగ్స్ అన్నీ చేశారు కాబట్టి. ఈ పక్క కృష్ణుడు తెలుసు, ధర్మరాజు, పంచపాండవులు తెలుసు, అంతే. ఆ మీద చచ్చిపోయారు అందరూ. 11 మంది లాస్ట్లో మిగిలింది. కాదంటే పెద్దవాళ్ళు భీష్ముడు ఒకడు, ద్రోణాచార్యులు ఒకడు. ఏంది, వాట్ డస్ ఇట్ మీన్? వీళ్ళందరి చరిత్రే మహాభారతంలో వాళ్ళ చరిత్ర తప్పితే మిగద్దంతా బాగా చదువుకున్న వాళ్ళు కూడా ఆ లిస్ట్ అంతా చెప్పను. ఆ జనం అంతా చచ్చిపోయిన 30-40 లక్షల మంది జనం పేర్లు తెలుసా? వాళ్ళు ఎవరిది లేదు. వాళ్ళందరూ దేవర్ డ్రివన్. సో with this you will understand the history of the world is nothing but the words and the deeds of the great men and women who are called leaders. So once again I am repeating the beautiful definition. A leader is a mover who moves the mood through motives to fulfill the motives of both. Thank you very much.